Hey guys, well, figured I'd do a little bow drill, get a little ember, and get the ember in this tulip poplar. A little bit of a piece of a bird's nest here. Got to do it in the garage. Don't really have time to go out back to the woods, and it's just started raining. So, anyways, along with making this, I figured I'd kind of show you what works best for me. To start with, it's tulip poplar hearth, about an inch thick, I guess. Yeah, it's an inch. And out of the same piece of wood I made the spindle, and that's probably a little over 3/4, maybe 7/8. Used to be quite a bit longer. Probably I start with them about like that. And this hearth has worked out pretty good. I got good 4 or 5 embers out of each one of these sockets, and this one's a newer one. You can see that how I made the notch. You go about a halfway into the socket, not quite halfway, and then actually kind of make it a little wider than probably a lot of people like, and wide at the bottom and kind of angled back. I've found that making a notch like this, it makes a whopper of an ember. I mean, you get a pile of dust in here. It's about the whole height of the hearth board, and you get quite an ember out of that. So that's the way I got the notch. I got a little piece of leather here to catch it on, so I can transfer it into the bird's nest. So then on the spindle, after going and hopefully you're seeing this, burning out the initial socket, and you want to trim off all the burnt wood on the spindle because it's done, it's gone, it's burnt up. You knock that off, and then if you notice, you go around the edge of the spindle and cut the whole shoulder off. Just chamfer it down a little bit. That'll stop the shoulder from rubbing on the top of the hearth, and that's just unnecessary friction right there. And then for a handhold, I use either a wooden one before, or I got a rock around here somewhere. But this little skateboard wheel, that's the dude there. There's no friction whatsoever created there, and the spindle just it freewheels real well. So you just make a real nice point like you would for a regular handhold. Fits right in that skateboard wheel, and off we go. So then for my bow, nothing special, just a stick, piece of number 36 bank line. Just tightened it up a little bit, so might give me a little bit of trouble getting that in there, but we'll see. So anyways, we'll get going here, see if we can get an ember out of this. What I like to do is kind of run slow to start with, and very little pressure, and really kind of watch the dust that's coming out. And I like to ride kind of toward the top of the spindle with the string, so there's less risk of hitting the ground with the bow when you're going low like that. If you're too low down here in the arc of your arm, you end up hitting the ground. So let's see, we'll give her a shot here. And I kind of like to get in a weird position to do this because I don't like eating the smoke. So I'm going to stay back instead of right on top of it. You can really control the pressure with the skateboard wheel pretty easy. So I'm starting to see a little bit of dust dropping now, so just keep working on it like that for a minute. And you're getting a little bit of smoke now, so I'll speed up a touch. really just trying to build the dust right now, and I got a pile that I want, so. And we're just going to leave that sit for a second. Don't want to disturb it while I catch my breath. A little bit. That's a pretty good sized pile there in comparison to my finger. So that's an ember that you can take your time with, let it build. One thing I've found, especially with this poplar, you get too much pressure and too fast. To start with, you burn up all the dust in the socket before it even comes out. It's starting to get going now. It's got a good coal in it now. So you got plenty of time with one that size to get going. See if we can get down there a little closer here real quick. Let's see if I can adjust this again. Sorry for hanging out in the garage, but that's where we're at. I'll go ahead and transfer this thing into my bird's nest here, a little bit of one. Don't want to get too much going on in the garage here. And so we got the ember sitting in there. You see him cooking. Not a very big bird's nest, so I hope it don't drop out of here, but there we go. So that's what works for me on the bow drill. Give that skateboard wheel a try, they're pretty cool. Thanks.